I wanted to do a quick video on healing ancestry. And thanks to other souls who have worked with this subject for many years. Thanks to them and learning from them this year, I am finally able to understand what it means for me to heal my ancestral lines. You know, I was in, and I've talked about this before, I was in therapy for a long time, and there came a point where this last year I kind of graduated from it. It wasn't just me validating, it was my therapist validating that too, and it was really nice knowing that, you know. And one thing I had told her many times is that it wasn't, I couldn't put my finger on it, but it wasn't enough just for me to understand the psychology of dysfunction within my family. I had spent so many years trying to understand the psychology. I then understood the psychology. I then applied it. But I just couldn't put my finger on what wasn't occurring for me, the pieces that weren't fitting into the puzzle. And then I realized it was energy work. It was energetics. It was and I was an energy healer, and that was the connection. And this year, more than any other time in my life, I was able, thanks to the translation of other people who understand this, I was able to understand the missing piece for myself. I spent the majority of my life resenting my ancestral lines, resenting my immediate family, because I hadn't had enough space to heal my own wounds. And a lot of what I had inherited, you could just look at the dysfunction, especially in my immediate family, and just say, well, that's the reason. No one really knew how to be any different, and everyone was just surviving, right? So, and I didn't have enough space or time to really just be with myself and heal myself and not resent my ancestral lines and my immediate family. Finally, this year, it took until this year to be able to understand what an honor it is, and it was a slow process of understanding, a slow process of osmosis. And it doesn't mean everything's perfect. You know, the only parent that I have a relationship with at this point is my dad. And it's because in our own separate ways, we are healing, and we made an active decision to be in each other's lives. That's a miracle. If you actually knew the entirety of stories about my family, that's a miracle. And so he and I, we really try hard. Each of us try hard to make this work between the two of us. And as I was really sort of, you know, I had an older brother who had passed 12 years ago. What ended up happening was we had a huge age difference, and so I ended up being the eldest, really, when he wasn't at home. I was the eldest between me and my younger brother, Taylor, and we get along. Thankfully, our connection has had its ups and downs, but what siblings don't, right? As the eldest, and considering the dysfunction I grew up in, I was asked by my parents to take responsibility for their emotional well-being. And they didn't even know that they were asking that. My dad is very aware of that now, and we have created resolution. But I was very resentful to do any energetic work on the ancestry within my family. And I am only now understanding how important it is. And I am only now in gratitude of what my ancestors, even if I didn't know them all, what they went through and what they had to survive. Not only psychology or physical, but the energetics of not knowing what to do to heal that, heal certain parts. And so I'm very humbled, and I'm very grateful that I know what that means for me now. So this long video is only to encourage you that if psychology isn't working, the patterns and behaviors of people maybe within your own family, however far back you go, if there's any sort of dysfunction, every family has stories, right? Consider the energetics, consider the energetics, consider the possibility of fragmentation that may have occurred, of information not known, and allow yourself to be led to what's right for you as far as healing that. And so yeah, long video, but I just wanted to share. And as we move in the world constantly, there's so much change going on. And I think the subject of ancestry and where we come from is becoming sort of an imperative question. And as times change so quickly, I think we can't help but look back on what was, what is now, and what can be healed now in between those periods of time. Because everything can be healed. Everything can be healed. I love you.